what is the motivation? And I know, or you know, for the people who are performing, men and women, but for a man or a woman to go into a strip club, like I get maybe once or twice, but to consistently go in there, what is the motivation? Like, what is it?
I fell asleep in a strip club a couple of times.
Yeah.
That tells you how much
It was,
right.
yeah.
But to your point, that is an area where I think I don't like to judge anyone. I'm not, like I said, I'm not that, but that's something that we need to look into.
Yeah.
When you have to run to these type of settings or these atmospheres to get whatever off.
Satisfaction, whatever.
Yeah, satisfaction. Like, I know a couple of people who go there for different reasons, though. Just to get away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know, but just to go in that atmosphere and to just
and that's
be
your atmosphere, and that's
you're
right.
comfortable.
And that's your getaway.
Yeah, that's
that's your getaway. Like when we talk to, you know, some of the people that we know or even been around, and you know, and I've spoken to some of these people in the clubs. Like,
right.
What is it like that like keeps them coming? And like you say, keeps that's their safe space.
It's probably maybe the allure of I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's some type of sexual allure,
obviously, because
you know,
you got naked people
perversion.
Walking around. Yep, perversion.
But I mean, it's hard for me because, like I said, I'm not that guy. I don't keep saying it, but I'm just saying it's just hard for me to tap into it.
I'll tap into
something.
it.
Go ahead.
I'll tap into it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Because like I said, I know plenty of cats who've done it, you know, and not even just the strip clubs, but also like they'll do quote unquote bachelor parties, but they'll have one like every week for somebody, stuff like that. And the thing is that part of it is something's missing at home. That's number one. It's not even a matter of they want to be in that environment. It's something that's missing at home. And these, you know, the people that they're going to, whether they're, you know, it's a strip club for men or women,
right?
They, you know, just like a bartender, whatever, they make you feel comfortable, whether they're naked or not. They make you feel comfortable. Hey, you want to drink? You want to, you know, and then obviously being half naked, you know, the comfort level is even a little more. So it's a comfort level.
Yeah.
And then from the sexual aspect of it, you have someone who's in front of you who's half naked, who's giving you attention that you may not be getting at home.
Probably. Or anywhere else.
Or anywhere else, or even in your life. And so it's not always just the sexual content. The sexuality plays a part of it because the sexuality makes you comfortable. And like I said, I've seen it just with guys. And I would just sit back and be like, man, like y'all are really comfortable in this environment.
I also think it's a sense of control.
Okay.
Because you have the money. And you can,
you can have it your way.
It's a serious issue that they're probably not even aware of. I've known people, they budget a certain amount for the strip club, like the, you know, lottery tickets and things of that nature. It's a part of their life, their everyday existence.
And there was an article, I don't know where it was, but I saw it on Facebook where, you know, young girls are feeling, you know, 14 and under, they're feeling more pressure to have sex because young men are seeing more porn.
Oh.
And so it's not going into, hey, let's have a kiss, or it's jumping. And so that's why, you know, we also wanted to tap into it, you know, not just the strip club aspect, but now the porn aspect of it too, because these were once young men who are now grown,
right?
And so I will bet you most of them had some Penthouse, had some Playboy before they kind of veered into that, and so that's kind of where I wanted to have the conversation along with you. Is like, you know, this porn is also
out of control.
It's a drug. It's a
out
drug.
Of control. Well, you can get it anywhere now.
Right. And especially now that you have YouTube and everything. And so these kids have so much access to it. So it's like, you need to really, really, really start making it, I don't even say morally, obviously it's morally, but have some foundation for your children.
Well, we talked about this also in many instances, maybe not this particular subject, but that starts at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as parents, nowadays, we all are parents, we have to be even more microscopic, and more aware of what's going on.
What they're watching on their
what
phone.
they're watching, especially at a young age.
Our culture, our young women kind of guide us because, you know, man, we do a lot of things in the mindset of, you know, hey, we want to take care of our ladies, we want to please our ladies. So if these ladies are feeling like they have to do that, then we're going down a slippery slope of where we're putting more pressure on our young women.
Once again, boundaries. What do you think about parents sitting their children down and discussing sex at a young age, making them aware of what's out there instead of hiding it from them, and hoping they discover it on their own? Is that format out the door? Should it be out the door at this point?
That format is definitely dead. Hiding it. because you had too many people who didn't know what was going on,
Yeah.
and they were learning it from the street. So that format is dead. However, just like you got done saying with boundaries, you know, you learn it early, and I had to learn it early with our, you know, because both of us have kids. You know,
Right.
our oldest are around the same age.
Right.
You had to learn it early. You had to teach them early, especially like maybe 1 or 2, or especially when they could talk. You know, this is your private area. This is your, you know, your penis. This
Yes.
is your vagina. This
Have
is
the conversation.
because 6th grade, 7th grade, they are teaching them it. I think they have to be aware of it, not so much the necessary the intercourse of it. I mean, yeah, you can teach them it, and you know, most of the boys are gonna be, that's nasty and all that. The girls need to be aware for their bodies.
Well, I think they're teaching it in school from a bland level.
Well, that's always
They're
what
not
gonna
having an
teach it.
in-depth
No, that's for
conversation.
us. That's for the parents.
Exactly.
To do. That's for the
And
parents
that's why
to
I
do.
brought that up.
Yeah, that's for the parents to have. They've always the general health class. They're going to show you the general the science of it, how you do make a baby, but they're not going to show you the intimacy part of it. Obviously,
There'll be a lot of suing going
right.
on.
But the part that is going on is where they're teaching these kids, you don't have to have a gender early. And that's where
Yeah, I guess-
you're playing with fire, because if you're not going to teach them sex up until a certain age, then you should not be talking about gender.
I agree.
At a certain age, I believe that you should not.
I think you should start with gender first
But see,
before you go into.
But what about those that don't believe in gender? And so that's what I'm saying. So
That's
and
fair.
if you're going into a public school, I think you just have to stick with basic science, which is it's men and male and female.
Right.
And then you can talk about identifying when you get into 6th, 7th grade, when you talk about health class and sexual ed. But I don't think, in my opinion at least, I don't think I think that all should be taught at a certain age. But you should leave the young ones alone. Leave them alone. Let them figure out who they are. Not because it's your issue that you may feel it's genderless. Let them figure that out.
When you say young, what do you mean? What age? What you mean by young?
About 6th, 7th grade, when you teach them sex ed. The same
you,
age.
you think they should leave that alone? Leave them alone?
Up until then.
The school.
Yes.
And
Yes.
shouldn't the parents, because we have to
If you
understand.
want to teach them that, you teach them that at home.
Because
yeah.
these kids are learning.
Yeah, but you don't.
At
But
a
the
younger age,
the schools should not.
Yeah,
be
I don't think they should
teaching-
interfere with that early.
not
I agree.
That early. And so that, like I said, these
Agree,
are things
agree.
that once again we're going to see in our society. We have to be willing to have these conversations and not be rigid, tight butts.
Right.
If we're gonna grow and everybody can find a common place where we can all, exist in some kind of harmony, these conversations have to happen.